Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome inside Pam Evans Smith Arena on the campus of Wittenberg University in beautiful Springfield, Ohio, on this Memorial Day weekend for the OHSAA. That's Ohio High School Athletic Association Boys Volleyball State Championship Weekend. With Jackie Klein, Ohio State University volleyball standout and owner of Elite Volleyball. My name's Chris Solwecki. Glad to have you along with us. And we are excited to bring you the second Division II semifinal matchup featuring the McNicholas Rockets out of Cincinnati, coming in with a record of 20 wins against 5 losses, and the Independence Blue Devils, 10-6 on the season, coming from Independence, Ohio. And Jackie, both of these teams played a year ago in this tournament. Both teams fell in the first round, so we know that's not going to happen. One of these two will make it to the championship game before all is said and done.
You know, and usually we talk about there's a team with experience in the state tournament and a team who doesn't have experience, but both these teams are coming in. They played in this arena before. It is a unique arena. There's a lot of things above us that we'll probably talk about, you know, as the match goes on, but they are ready. They know the vibe. They know the feel. It's going to be a fun match to watch.
McNicholas has 7 players returning from last year's state semifinal team. One of them, Gavin Gerhardt, is a first-team all-conference or all-region player. Really talented team. And, of course, their head coach, Julia Mulvey, she was announced as the region coach of the year, so a lot there. On the other side, Independence, they have 8 kids coming back from last year. And a couple of those names, if you paid attention a year ago, are very familiar, including the setter, Jamie Panicki. But we'll talk about all of these players as we roll along. What's 1 or 2 players that stands out to you, Jackie? One for each team. Oh, well, we're going to pause for the national anthem. They changing it up on us this time around, so let's pause and then we'll come back. We honor America on this Memorial Day weekend with the playing of our national anthem. Now they'll introduce the starters on the court. We'll get to that in just a couple of minutes, but let's talk about a couple players to watch, one for each team.
Yeah, starting with McNicholas, we're going to see the ball delivered to Gavin Gerhardt over and over and over again. He is number 4 and plays on the outside. He's actually a junior, so we're going to have a chance to see him this year and the possibility of even next year coming in at 6'2". He did make first team for his region, so I definitely expect us to say his name over and over and over again today. Now, over on the Blue Devils side, we're going to see the ball delivered to Landon Jatzik over and over again also, but he plays in the middle. So if the team is able to pass the ball well, you can expect that the ball will be delivered to him time and time again. But if they're out of system, it's harder and harder to get the ball to your middle. So it'll see how that first ball contact plays out.
You talked about Gerhardt being a junior. You look up and down the roster, there's actually only one senior on this McNicholas team. It's Bryce Dillard, number 10, a middle blocker. Everybody else, they got a lot of juniors, a couple of sophomores and a freshman, but lots and lots of juniors on this volleyball team, which bodes well for the future, but it may also bode well for today. Independence is also a returning team from a year ago. Their record coming in is 10-6, and that's notable because they played significantly fewer matches than any of the other teams here this weekend, and most of the other teams in the state it's partially geography, and it's just difficult to get games.
I agree. It was something that stood out to me. It was pretty loud when I looked over all of these stats, because that's just missing out on experience. So hopefully that doesn't set them back here. But, McNicholas played some pretty hard teams. Bishop Fenwick. They played St. Charles, who we saw in the match before us. Baden. These are very well-known programs, and so they do have a lot of that experience under their belt.
How these two teams got here. Independence, they are the number 5 seed in their region. A little bit of a surprise that a 5 seed would make it all the way here, but they did. They knocked off Cleveland East Tech 3-0 in their first round matchup. Then they beat numbers 1, 3, and 2 in that order. Cleveland barred Early College 3-0. They're the number 1 seed. Number 3, Cleveland Villa Angela St. Joseph. They beat them 3-0. And then number 2, Chardon. They beat them 3-0. So big-time wins for Independence. On the other side, McNicholas, they got here by defeating Mount Healthy 3-0. Then Middletown Christian 3-0. Dayton Chaminade Julienne 3-0. And then the big one was the regional championship against Bishop Fenwick, where it went all 5 sets in just an incredible match, finishing up with a 15-9 win in the 5th and final set. A little bit of a backflip on the floor to get us started by Kevin Kaser. He's trying to ignite the crowd, and we're just about set to get going with this second semifinal. What stands out to you? What do you think is going to be the thing that makes a difference in this second semifinal?
I think it's going to be experience and rhythm. Independence, this is only their second year of even having a team or a program within their school. We're now in the second year of OHSAA sanctioning this program for schools. So I don't know. I think it's going to come down to nerves at the beginning, and then it's going to come down to serve and receive.
The officials for this afternoon's contest, up on the ladder, the first referee is Guido Bucci. The second referee on the floor is Katie Resch. One of the line judges, Grace Ehlert, and the other line judge, Michael Hersig. The scorer is Debbie Keller, and the assistant scorer is Steve DeBacco. So we have your officials aligned. We've got your players on the floor. McNicholas is in the white uniforms with green numbers outlined in black. Independence has white uniforms with blue numbers outlined in gold. Independence will serve it first. The crowd is making noise. As to the serving line goes Sonny Sears, the libero. McNicholas clears, dug out, bump set. Big swing into the block, trying to keep it alive. There's a bump into the block, and that'll be a point for Independence. Good swing by Gavin Gerhardt, but equal to the task was the block from the Blue Devils.
It's all about feeling it out at the beginning. We didn't even see probably his full potential on that swing, but the block was there directly in front of him. So it's just about getting the nerves out, making sure that the touch is good and that they're used to the lighting above them.
And there he is, second time through with a little bit more authority comes Gerhardt for the point. We're tied at 1. To the serving line goes Ben Jones. Jones, one of the 7 returners on this McNicholas team. Outside set, a low outside set, dug out, tight to the net. A free ball across by Kevin Kaser. Tight in the middle, blocked. Back set, big swing. That's a big point for the Rockets. That ball looked like a rocket coming off the right hand of Ethan Gundrum.
And Ethan Gundrum is the setter for McNicholas when he's in the back row, but when he's in the front row, he's a right side hitter. So they're running what's called a 6-2 offense.
Serve middle back, misplayed. Can they keep it alive? No, sir. Point for the Rockets.
So we talked about that kind of in the opening, that Independence needs to take care of their first ball contact because they're trying to get the ball to Landon Jatzik, okay? But actually right now, Landon Jatzik is going to stay outside on the outside pin and then shift into the middle.
Outside set, left-handed swing, kept alive. Free ball across. Here come the Blue Devils, outside, into the block and out of bounds. Good swing by number 22, Wyatt Snyder, the 6'1 senior outside hitter. Now serving is Joey Jermasic. Dramasic wears number 14, a 5'9 senior, and he serves it into the net. You mentioned a minute ago the 6'2", that's when you have two setters on the floor at the same time, but it seems like a lot of these schools will also run a 5'1". Is there a benefit between one or the other? Is it a coach feel?
It depends on how many good setters you have, first of all. Second of all, it's a consistency thing. If you run a 6'2", both setters have to set similarly. If they don't, then it's a disadvantage. Also, you need to have a very offensive setter if you're going to utilize them in the front row. The setter has to be able to dump and be a second ball kill option.
The 6'2" being used by the Rockets here, and quite a long rally between these two teams early on in set one. There's a bump set back, tight to the net. Well done, though, by number 8, Carson Tierney. Free ball. Here comes McNicholas. Oh, overpass, and they're going to put a net violation.
So actually, that violation is the setter, number 7, is back row.
Attack violation.
So he reached over across the plane of the net, and so it was a back row attack.
Good reception in the back row by Kaser. Tossed across. Here comes Independence. Big swing right into the block. We're seeing these guys let loose a little bit here early on, no question about it. That swing goes just long, much to the chagrin of Ethan Gundrum. We thought maybe he got the back line.
Yeah, he was shocked, and actually I was too. But again, the glare where we're sitting, it's almost like a mirage to us, so we have to trust those officials for those calls.
Had some big long rallies here early on in set number 1 as these two teams feel it out. That ball goes in between a couple of blockers, Jay Clifton and Ethan Gundrum, and falls between them, so it's 5-4, Independence with the lead. Wyatt Snyder with the serve. Back set, big swing, goodness gracious. Ethan Gundrum goes up and down with it.
And that's another reason why you run a 6'2". If you have a hammer like that, you want him hitting when he's in the front row.
5-all. Good up the back row. Big left-handed swing. That's a big point for Landon Jancek. Player of the year in his region. Region 7 gets the point there.
So we've seen him hit on the outside pin. We've seen him hit in the middle, and now we just saw him hit on the right side, which is probably more comfortable to him because he's left-handed. I mean, he's very versatile. We're going to see him all across the net.
It's going to be a free ball. Quick one in the middle. Just a dump across, but it does the job. And the point goes to McNick. Just back and forth we go here early in set 1, currently tied 6-6.
This is a very defensive game right now. We're seeing the ball kept alive where usually in the guys' game it's more of a serve to the floor or hit to the floor, block to the floor, but it's fun when it becomes live like that.
Gundrum with a high toss and a big swing, but he goes several feet beyond the back line, so that's a serving error. 7-6, Independence has the lead, and to the serving line goes Jamie Panicki. Panicki, the setter, a 5'10 sophomore, played in this game a year ago as a freshman. Big swing, played on that back line, trying to keep it alive, and they will. The free ball across. Here comes Independence. And that's out on the far side. And we are tied at 7, so neither team has taken control of this first set in any way, shape, or form. Might be how you expect it as two teams feel themselves out. Neither of them have seen the other this year, except on tape.
They're playing very similarly, though, so it's fun to play a team like that. There's not going to be one that's going to dominate over the other. They're going to be stealing that momentum back and forth. There's going to be a lot of lead changes. There's going to be a lot of ties. It's going to be a fun match.
Mark Pillar with the swing. It went out of bounds. They wanted a touch, but they did not get it. And there's an ace down the line. Really good serve, and the bench responds with a push-up. Carson Tierney doing the work from the serving line. McNicholas now a 2-point advantage. Tierney with the approach. Line drive just clears the top of the net. Free ball across. Here come the Rockets. Gundrum outside. Hit hard. Down the line by Gerhardt. That one's coming across, but they're going to call a double hit against the Blue Devils. And McNicholas now has the biggest lead for either team of the match, up 3. Carson Tierney brings it again. Dumped across, good coverage that time. And that one goes right into the net off the arm of Gerhardt. Gundrum, really good job as a setter covering that dink across. And Gundrum's not, at least he doesn't have the physique of a normal setter. He's a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger than what you might be used to seeing.
Yeah, but Gerhardt said that was my fault. He made an error. He hit it a little bit too low. So I actually really love that communication with teammates. Hey, it's a game of mistakes. That was my bad. I got the next one.
There's Bryce Dillard to serve now for McNicholas, leading by 3, 11-8. Bump set. They keep it alive. And that's in. Back corner, perfectly placed. Nicely done by number 7, Ben Jones.
And Ben Jones is the second setter also. So we're seeing him stay in the front row. He's a little bit shorter than the other guys, but he's handling his own out there, blocking the outside hitter coming from Independence.
And that's not a great set. Frustration coming from Alex Eisman. But it could be argued the first pass put the setter in a difficult situation. That one off the top of the tape, but it's played. Back set, close to the net, nice placement. 2 blockers were there, but Jermasic found a gap between them and laid it home.
Yeah, and it was a great call because the blockers from McNicholas were really high. Usually when you're blocking, you want to put your hands low and over, but they were high, so he had time to make that choice to send the ball to that campfire area in the middle of the court.
Sears with the serve. There's a swing that gets off the block, and here comes Independence on the attack. Back set, hit hard, off the touch, trying to keep it alive. What an effort by Kaiser. And it's going to turn into a point for the Rockets. Kevin Kaiser keeps the ball alive, and ultimately the point comes off the arm of Gerhardt.
And we saw him in this role last year. He was the libero also, and he was making plays all over this gym. So we're going to see that from him the rest of this match for sure, if not the rest of this weekend.
Quick one at the net, tossed over but out of bounds. That was a bad set, or at least it was set in a place that Landon Jacek couldn't do much with it.
Yeah, Jamie Panicki, he's running a 5-1 right now, but it's hard setting in this environment because you have a brand new ball that comes out of the box.
Right.
And those balls they're tight, and it's not like they're broken in. And so we've got to give them a little bit of grace here for this first set.
Ethan Gundrum with a big swing, and now McNicholas has a 7-point lead, and that brings us to a timeout on the floor. 16-9 McNicholas. More to come after this timeout. The number 1 seed out of Region 8, Cincinnati McNicholas, has 16 points. The number 5 seed out of Region 7, the Independence Blue Devils, just 9, but it's been a tight contest up until the last moment or two. Independence took a timeout, and now out of the timeout, it'll be Ben Jones serving for the Rockets of McNicholas, trying to maintain momentum. Jacek across, dug out, but there's Jacek again, and again dug out. Kaiser all over the floor. Big swing, and that one goes wide. No touch, and the point will be for the Blue Devils.
It's understandable why Jacek got Player of the Year for his region because he's doing a lot in a lot of different roles. You see him on the outside pin, going in the middle, trying to be a big blocker. So he continues to be a big part of this team.
And that serve goes out. It actually goes off the foot of the line judge, so hazard pay for Grace Ehlert. Took one for the team there. 18-9, McNicholas has the lead. Gavin Gerhardt to serve. The first team Region 8 participant, the jumper. Good reception by Sonny Sears. That one's off the tape, but kept alive. Back set. Gundrum into the block and down. Another point for the Rockets, who seem to be having their way right now, and they're clicking offensively.
Yeah, it's a fast tempo offense too, so the ball's getting to the hitter pretty quickly, and the Independence Blue Devils are just not getting their block set up quick enough. They've got to press their hands over the net and try to stop that ball a little sooner.
Good serve by Gerhardt. That one goes off the scoreboard and comes right down into the lap of number 23, Landon Jacek. So the point goes to McNicholas, 19-10.
So the scoreboard here in this arena is very low. And so the rules state if it hits that scoreboard, for example, or anything up in the ceiling and comes down on your side, you're able to play it as long as you have a contact left. But otherwise, it's considered out of bounds if it goes over.
Wyatt Snyder with the swing, but it goes right into the arms of two Rockets. And now McNicholas with a 10-point lead here in set number one as Gerhardt continues to serve. Good dig by Sears. Tossed across on the second ball. Outside. Into the block. Gundrum with a good swing, but that time equal to the task was Snyder and Jacek, who double-teamed him.
And it was a great adjustment because we talked about earlier that the Blue Devils didn't have their hands over fast enough, and they fixed that. So that's telling you that they can make adjustments, they can learn on the fly, and adjust to what the team's coming at them with.
Good swing by Gundrum, but a good block in the middle by Jacek, and there's a swing that goes into the net. So an attack error by Carson Tierney gives a point to Independence. 2 in a row for the Blue Devils. They trail by 8. Snyder again with the serve. Big one in the middle. No touch. That was a huge swing by Jay Clifton, but nowhere near the floor. Oh, now they are going to call, I believe, a net violation.
Net violation, yeah. So the ball's going back to McNicholas.
To the serving line goes Kevin Kaser, who's been all over the floor as a libero should be. Been playing great defense. Now he gets the chance to do a little serve. 21-12. And there's a attack error by Jamie Panicki, and the point goes to the Rockets. They're now 3 points away from taking this first set.
So the libero position has been around for many years now, but it is a little confusing if you're not sure what it means. It's someone who wears a different colored jersey because they do not cost their team a substitution when they come in, but they can only come in the back row. Now, he's allowed to serve, but he's only allowed to serve in one position. And typically that's for a middle attacker. But that's changing at the pro leagues. A lot of the pro leagues say if you're a middle attacker, you have to serve. Your libero can't do it for you.
That rocket hit went out of bounds, and so it'll be McNicholas 23, Independence 13. 2 points to go for the Rockets. Gundrum, high toss, big swing. Good reception over there by Khalil McDonald. Free ball across. Gundrum, back row set, dug out nicely, but out of bounds. What a big swing by Gavin Gerhardt.
So we have to remember that this net is set at 8 feet, okay? He just hit that ball and literally hit it straight down. So that's telling you that his vertical is huge.
That one's going to clear the court. And so Gundrum can't finish, but his team leads by 10. The serve comes back across to Jamie Panicki. Panicki serves middle back. Off the touch, dug out in the back row. Back set. Off the touch, kept alive by Kaser. Bumper, that's close. Nothing that can be done over there Bump set to Tierney. He couldn't get to it. Too tight to the net.
Just a little bit of chaos. In chaos, we need to get the ball a little bit higher so it slows things down. You just don't want your teammates to feel like they're jumpy and having to correct too much.
Paniki serves that one into the net, and that will end set number 1. McNicholas, convincing, winning by 10 in this first set, 25-15. Set number 2 on the other side of this timeout. Thanks so much for watching. This is the Ohio High School Athletic Association Boys State Volleyball Championship Weekend on NFHS Network. McNicholas from Cincinnati got the first set 25-15, and now they'll look to extend their lead with Jackie Klein. Jackie, when you look at stats, there are a lot of different things to interpret, but when the team you're playing against is hitting negative, that's usually a pretty good signature for you. How can you hit negative? Help people understand how somebody can actually have a negative hitting percentage.
Yeah, so the way that you calculate hitting percentage is you take your number of kills and you subtract your errors from that. And so if you have more errors than kills, you're in the negative, okay? Well, then you take that number and you divide it by your total number of attempts. That's what you get your hitting percentage from. But basically that's saying that Independence had more errors than they had kills. And so typically that's the first thing that coaches look at is who has the best hitting percentage, and that's usually who wins a set, and that's what we saw in the last one.
We did. They're hitting negative. Independence is hitting negative 125 as we speak, and there's an attack error off the antenna by the Rockets, so we are tied at 1, and Sonny Sears looking to turn their fortunes around for the Blue Devils with a serve here.
The Blue Devils are no strangers to upset. I mean, they have upset a few teams along the way, so that's the benefit of a best 3 out of 5 match is you can come back and you can still win this.
As we mentioned, they were the number 5 seed coming in. They defeated number 1, 2, and 3 in their region on the way to the championship. Cleveland Bard Early College, Cleveland Villa Angela St. Joseph, and Chardon. All 3 fell to Independence, who's the number 5 seed. There's an ace.
Yeah, and that celebration was justified. What a speedy ball coming at them. And it really wasn't even spinning that hard, but Gerhard was able to put a lot of velocity on that ball.
3-1, McNicholas has the lead here in set number 2. Gerhard with the toss. He's hitting down on the ball. Like, he's tall enough, he's got a big enough jump, that ball off the antenna, so that's another one. But that's a really tough serve when the trajectory doesn't have any arc to it. It is a straight line drive down towards your feet.
Right, and because this net is 8 foot tall, the women's net is 7'4", and they tend to stand about halfway between the end line and the 10-foot line. But usually the guys are standing further back just because of math alone. But like you said, with his contact point, that math changes, and it changes pretty quick.
That time his serve was an error. It went out of bounds, so the ball comes back to the Blue Devils. They trail 4-2 in this second set. And Khalil McDaniel to serve for the Blue Devils. Back set, well off the net, and that one is in, just in, but a great swing. I believe that was Ethan Gundrum got the point.
It was, and he put a lot of topspin on that ball. He hit the ball upward, but topspin, when it goes through the air, will make the ball drop, and it'll make it drop fast.
Back row, that was Wyatt Snyder. There's another one just inside the line. Goodness gracious, the Rockets are using every inch of the floor to their advantage right now.
And it actually was a bad set. It was trapped inside. But he was able to come in. He turned his right hip hard and fast, which brought the ball down the line.
Kevin Kaser serves the back row. Outside. Left-handed toss over. Nicely done by Jacek. That one was perhaps mishit, perhaps just an off-speed, but Carson Tierney made it work to his advantage.
Even if it wasn't planned, it was the right play.
That's right.
Because when the ball's coming at you hard and fast and you're used to that, that's kind of what you expect. And those off-speed shots, they usually always hit the floor.
Snyder swings, dug out nicely. Gundrum, a gentle throw across. Free ball across. Thought there was going to be a back row attack. Changed their mind at the last moment. There's a short one in the middle. Point for the Rockets. Bryce Dillard with a finish.
The best time to set the middle is on defense. So anytime they're in transition, that's when the ball should be fed to the middle. And it was a great play.
Timeout taken by Lexi Prokopius, the head coach of Independence. We'll be back with more after this. McNicholas 8, Independence 2 in set number 2. (8-2), McNicholas has the lead over Independence in set number 2, and out of the timeout, back to the serving line is number 1, Kevin Kaser. Kaser with the toss and the hit, and that's an ace right between Sonny Sears and Mark Pilar.
And let's explain why that happened, okay? Typically you see servers coming from right back. Now this is a left back serving scenario, so there's a lot more communication that has to go through that with that.
Free ball across. Back set. Big swing. That one's going to go out. Looking for the touch, but not getting it is number 10, Bryce Dillard. So let's talk a little bit, because you and I grew up in a world where men coached everything, right? Men coached boys, men coached girls. Then over the course of our lifetime, we've seen women become very important in coaching women, right? College level, high school level. But it's pretty rare that you see women coaching men, and we have a game here today, a match here today, where both coaches on either sideline are females, and I think that's an amazing thing for our sport.
I think it's important to point this out, because there is a level of respect that these boys have to show these women, and they have to demand also on their end. And so I love that these women are here today. It's a different game. It's harder, faster. So honestly, as a woman, I would love this because I could hit the ball as hard as I could at these guys, and they'd probably love it.
Independence trying to get a free ball. There it is. Quick one in the middle. Into the block. Dinked across. Kaser keeps it alive. Back row into the net.
That was the play, though.
Yeah,
that was the play. That's a Bick coming out of the back row as a sneak attack. Nobody knew it was coming. Unfortunately, it turned into an error, but that was the play that they should have run.
Jacek with the serve. Back set. Good swing and to the left of Wyatt Snyder. He got a hand on it, but nothing more. The point comes back to McNicholas. 12-4. The Rockets have the advantage. Skipped forward right into the net. It looked like maybe he was a little bit off kilter when he hit it because he landed kind of funny after he hit it.
Yeah, that kind of happened in his prep. You know how when a basketball player goes up to the free throw line, he usually has some sort of routine where he spins the ball or whatever, his style. Well, we do that in volleyball too. If your rhythm is messed up in that, then you're kind of in trouble after that.
There's a serving error by number 10, Jamie Panicki. A little too strong. Serving errors have been prolific in this first set and a half between the two teams. We're at 10, They just updated.
I think we see more service errors in the guys' game than the girls. So it just depends. Was it a big top spin serve that they were trying to get an ace on, or was it a float serve that needed to go in and happened in the net? Those are the things that coaches are probably keeping stats on more than just the error alone.
There's an ace. We talked a little bit about this in the first match that we did, but Independence 5 errors, no aces. McNicholas 5 errors, but now 7 aces, and that speaks volume. I mean, when you can get that risk reward and you're willing to give up a few mistakes for the purpose of having some really strong serves, you'll take that. But when you're 0 for 5, that's rough.
Yep, I agree with you. And then I'm seeing McNicholas serve a lot of balls from the left back position. That's actually a trend I'm seeing across the country. A lot of teams are asking their players, all of them, even a setter, to serve from the left back position just because most teams don't practice it enough.
Jay Clifton got the kill on that play. Independence sending it across. Gundrum trying to set Clifton. He got turned around. He couldn't see the ball in time. He and Gundrum having a conversation right now about what went wrong.
Yep, so that was probably the wrong set, but it's also where a middle needs to be up. So it was more of a hope. I hope you're there,
yeah.
But he wasn't. Oh.
That time Clifton went up as a decoy. Coming in behind was Gerhardt, but he hit it into the net.
Again, a good play. Yeah. That's the right play to run. It just didn't pan out.
Kaser comes up with the ball outside. Gerhardt, big swing, but it's dug out by Sonny Sears. That one, well done. Navigating the pins. Free ball. Goodness gracious, that goes long. But a big swing by Jay Clifton. Clifton's been in the middle of a couple of mistakes of late. He took his aggression out on that volleyball.
I think Independence said, phew, I'm glad that went out because that was really hard and really fast.
There's a serving error that goes out of bounds. You're seeing some of these plays and you're saying that's the right play and that's kind of exciting. It's also, you're up by 9, and with rally scoring you can't just assume you're going to take it to the house, but when you have a little bit of a lead, you're able to jump serve with a little more velocity. You're able to call plays you wouldn't necessarily otherwise call.
I agree, yeah. And so as a coach in volleyball, I say this with my team all the time. There's good plays, there's bad plays, and there's weird ones. It's one of those 3, okay? So we'll talk about the bad ones. That was a good try, but it just ended up weird.
Yeah. Sonny Sears with the serve, outside set, and Gundrum right into the block and down for the point.
That was a shut my eyes and hope it hits the blocker's hands kind of play that Gundrum was doing there, and it worked out in their favor.
He was a little bit tight to the pin, but he was able to get it inside, and as you mentioned, it hit the blockers and went straight down. 18-9, McNicholas with the lead. That was a rifle shot. Gerhardt, again, big long arms, big frame, jumps well, hits it straight down.
Yep, so Sonny Sears is communicating with his team right now about how this is a higher contact point. Let's scoot up. Ooh, and he went right after Sonny, didn't he?
Another ace right past Sonny Sears, between Sears and number 14, Joey Jermasic. 20-9, McNicholas with the lead here in set number 2. Already leading the match, 1-0. That is an airmailed serve. Didn't get any front spin on that at all, and all Gerhardt can do is smile.
Yeah, that's that risk versus reward that we talked about. So he got 2 aces and then had an error, so it kind of washes out. Actually, he came out ahead on that one.
Khalil McDonald with the serve now, and he sends that one too long. That was another one very close to a foot fault. Just stayed behind. Now Kevin Kaser to serve. Outside. Wyatt Snyder, they try to keep it alive. They do. Free ball across. Second ball goes over by number 23, Jacek. That one goes across just in front of Sonny Sears. And that'll be another point for the Rockets, 22-10.
Carson's kind of known for that off-speed shot, and sometimes it's hard to tell if he's doing it on purpose or it was just a mishit, but it's working for him, so keep feeding him the ball.
Outside, Snyder, too strong, no touch, 23-10. So here we are, just a few points away from the end of the second set. Independence still hitting negative 109. Really having trouble making the offense work. There's a pass that got too close to the net. Nothing that could be done by Paniki, and now we're at set point for the Rockets. Kevin Kaser trying to seal the deal for set number 2. Middle, Snyder, big swing, and he's going to keep his team alive.
Hey, and that's what they need. You need to be, you're not going to win this set, okay? So the Blue Devils, what they need to do is get the momentum going their way. So a good hit like that, a good serve here, a big block, those are all things that are momentum shifters in this game. Or that.
Or that, yeah, that's right through the hands of Gavin Gerhardt.
So the ball is small to these guys. Their hands are really big, and if their hands get sweaty and they keep them wide on a set, it's going to go right through it. So he was able to fix that on that play by putting his hands closer together.
Bryce Dillard uses the tape to his advantage. It rolls down the net and falls in play for the 25th and final point for McNicholas in this second set. They lead it 2-0, 25-15, 25-12. Set number 3 coming up on the other side of this timeout. Stay with us, will you? You're watching the Ohio High School Athletic Association Boys Volleyball State Championship Weekend on the NFHS Network. Set number 3 just in front of us from Wittenberg University, Pam Evans Smith Arena. McNicholas took the first two, 15-25 and 12-25, and now they're looking to finish it up in 3 sets against the Independence Blue Devils. Both of these teams were here a year ago. Both of them lost in the first round of the tournament. So McNicholas has the decided advantage at perhaps moving on to tomorrow. The winner of this will play tomorrow at noon in the championship game against St. Charles out of Columbus, Ohio, who knocked off Akron St. Vincent St. Mary's earlier today. So Sonny Sears to serve for Independence in this third set. And that's a service error, the 8th such mistake for the Blue Devils today. In fact, between the two teams, there have been 15 service errors. The difference with McNicholas is they also have 9 aces. Middle back, Sears comes up with it. Bump set to the outside. Jacek off the block, unable to be dug, and that'll be a point for the Rockets. Ben Jones tried to keep it in play, but the ball had some funky spin coming off the block, and he couldn't do it.
At the end of set 2, we talked about the Blue Devils getting a little bit of momentum, and you can see that coming off the bench into this first set, they're really interacting with each other in a higher energy.
And there's an ace coming off the right arm of Joey Jermasic. Right down the right line.
And that's what they need to continue to do, is attack from that service line, get McNicholas out of system.
Gundrum with a big swing. The tape slows it down a little bit, and that's going to be nearly impossible. Oh, they do a good job. Gundrum sends it right back. Kaysen, back set. Off the touch. Here comes Independence. Dink across. Kaser again. Quick one in the middle. Independence. Middle shot by Jacek. Gundrum rifles one off the top of the tape. And the ball falls to the floor. It'll be Rockets' point.
I love those plays that go long. You've seen them on social media where they time them, and it's sometimes like 2 minutes of volleyball.
Amazing.
It's exhausting. The average play for volleyball play is 10 seconds. You know, so those are long and exhausting for the players.
Bump set to the outside, and they do get it to go across. Jacek with the save. From the back row. Bump set to the outside. Snyder into the block. They're going to go to Jacek this time. He dinks it across. Nothing could be done. There they go. Third ball gets across on a freebie. Outside. Into the touch. And again, big long rally between these two teams. And that's how it ends as Gundrum hammers it home for the point.
Gundrum, and that's we talked about the 6-2 offense. That's why they're running a 6-2 offense, because Gundrum is just a massive part of their offensive weapons.
Gavin Gerhardt set to serve for McNicholas. They lead 3-2. Just long. Gerhardt wanted it.
Yep, just long. Even Independence guys looked at the line judge and said, phew, that's a good call.
3-3, the serve coming from Wyatt Snyder. Off the tape. Kaser comes up with it. Outside, into the block and down. That's a point by Carson Tierney.
He's making better hand contact on the ball, making better decisions. Even though that's not like 100% really fast ball, it is the right spot. And he's able to make those decisions on the fly.
Kevin Kaser with the serve. That one's off the touch and out of bounds, and that was hit with authority by Jacek.
And it's hard because Jacek is left-handed, and so it changes a little bit about where you line up as a blocker, especially where he's hitting from. If he's hitting from the right side, we have to do this. If he's hitting from the middle, we have to do this. And so there's a little bit of strategy involved in that.
There's a kill off the arm of Bryce Dillard. Hit the tape, hit the blocker, and went out of bounds. So now Ethan Gundrum, one of the setters, an Alpo hitter. He's a junior on this team. Only one senior on McNicholas' team, and they're playing like this. Middle set. Into the block and down. Nicely done by Alex Eiserman.
And that's just men's volleyball right there. It hits the block. It's going to go weird places. You have to either react or you're going to see what happened right there where everybody just expects someone else to go.
Jamie Panicki to serve. In. That's an ace. Somebody called out from the stands. The Rockets let it go. And Panicki gets an ace.
That was a great serve. It had a little bit of height to it, but it was floating. If a ball is not spinning on a serve, it's going to actually move with the air currents, and so it's hard to tell if it's going to continue out of bounds or if it's going to drop.
Kaser keeps it alive. Another swing. 2 in a row now by Ben Jones. And Independence can't keep it alive. Jones gets the kill, and the point goes to McNicholas. Carson Tierney will go to the serving line. Good reception, back row. Big swing, goodness gracious. Bryce Dillard.
Bryce Dillard was available. He transitioned hard and fast, and Gundam knew that he was there, so he was able to deliver that. It's called a one set. It's about 1 feet above the height of the net, probably more like 2 feet for these guys because they're jumping pretty high.
That one went out of bounds, so the ball comes back to Independence, who's hanging with McNicholas here in this third set, tied at 7. Mark Pillar to serve for the Blue Devils. Kaser, Gundram back set, up and down, big swing, goodness gracious. Ben Jones.
And all of that started with the pass. The pass is just landing right on top of the setter's head. So Gundram's able to make decisions because he can see the entire court. He can also see what's going on the other side to see if maybe the middle blocker is releasing to a specific hitter.
That ball close to the net, a really strong swing by Alex Eiserman, but the block was there.
Yep, Jay Clifton was there. He set that block because it was coming from a middle attacker from the other side and did a great job of pressing over the net.
Quick one, again, tight at the net, across and out of bounds. McNicholas starting to pull away, up 3, 10-7. The only senior on this Rockets team is number 10, Bryce Dillard, who is serving at the moment. Everybody else will be back, ostensibly, a year from now. That kept alive. Gundram outside. And Gerhard with a big swing.
That's kind of like one of those Hail Mary throws in football.
Yeah.
You know, as a setter, you're pursuing a ball into the backcourt, and you just have to chuck it up high to an outside hitter. And I just can't believe how awesome it is to see Gavin Gerhardt just go up and rip it as hard as he could. He didn't have any hesitation whatsoever.
That's a service error, 11-9, or 11-8, I should say. McNicholas has the lead. Free one across for Kaser. Back set, trying to use his right hand against the left pin. It was tough for him to do. And Gerhard ended up hitting the top of the tape and falling back. Sonny Sears, his team trails by 2. Into the block, kept alive. Back set, nicely done by Kaser. Gentle, but covered nicely. McNicholas has done a good job covering the dinks most of the day here. That one goes out of bounds. Point to the Rockets.
I agree with your comment about covering the tips. So that's something that in the men's game it's really fast. And so if you're not really studying the ball long and hard, you're going to just guess that it's going to be a hard hit. But to study the ball and know before you go, that's important.
Ben Jones with the serve. That one's going to stay in off the block. And so here comes the Blue Devils again. Handled in the back row. Back set. Gundram. Point. McNick. Gundram now, he's a setter, by the way, kids, but Gundram now has 9 kills on 18 attempts. He's hitting .333. He's also got 11 assists, so he's been Mr. Everything for this team.
And that's the magic number. As a hitter, you want to be hitting .333. That is your goal.
Good dig by Gundrum on that. Second ball goes across. Trying to keep it alive. They do. Outside. Gerhardt, big swing, but off the block, it's able to be received. And there's a bump by Ben Jones, but a little out of system were the Rockets, and that was a long rally. They got a little tired, I believe.
And Sonny Sears, libero for the Independence Blue Devils, he was the fire in that. He was taking those balls and turning them into high digs in the dig bucket. That's what I call it, which is about 12 feet off, instead of making his setter have to go really tight on the net.
Number 24, Ian Babb, is in to serve for the Blue Devils, and that's another point for the Blue Devils. Nope. The point's going to go across to McNick. I didn't see what the call was.
So it went off the blocker's hands and then traveled out of bounds, but it went all the way to the other sideline, so there was a little bit of eye contact that had to be made between the officials of, okay, what really happened? Who did it hit last?
Babb comes back out, and subbing in is Nathan Bernstein. So Gavin Gerhardt to serve, the first team all-regional player. He takes a lot off of that one comparatively, and over the net, and oh my goodness, what a swing by Ethan Gundrum, and all he can do is smile.
Sometimes your best sets are overpasses coming from the other team. They're really fun to hit, and he took advantage of that.
Oh my goodness, Gundrum with a colossal swing gets the point. McNicholas leads by 5, and that brings us to a timeout on the floor. 15-10, McNicholas on top. They lead at 2-0. More to come after this timeout. You're watching the OHSAA State Volleyball Championship Weekend on NFHS Network. So McNicholas in the driver's seat, up 2-0, leading 15-10 in the third set. Independence, though, showing no quit on their side of the ball. They will be receiving the serve from Gavin Gerhardt out of the timeout. Gerhardt with a good jump, and he hits a line drive off the tape. Set to the back row. Overpass, didn't go over the net, just went into it, and unable to dig it out was Ben Jones. Mark Pillar was the person on the attack for Independence on the other side. Here's Wyatt Snyder to serve. Back set, big swing. Gundrum again. This one off the block and all the way out the back side of the court.
So before that hit, he was hitting 400. We're going to wait for it to update because it's going to increase. We've got other players on the team. Carson Tierney hitting 364. Bryce Dillard hitting 417. Now Gundrum is showing that he's hitting 429. These are impressive numbers coming from this McNicholas team, and we saw similar numbers coming from St. Charles that played earlier and won their way into the finals. So if these two teams do match up tomorrow, it is going to be fun watching them compete as attackers.
No question. Big swing, and that's in. Again, Gundrum really feeling it now. For the match, McNicholas is hitting nearly 270. Contrast that with Independence hitting negative 041. 272 at the moment is McNicholas, and Gundrum is up to 455. That serve goes long. service errors perhaps be the only thing you could point at for McNick as being something to work on. That's their 11th service error of the match. Jamie Panicki to the serving line for Independence, 17-13, McNick. Gundrum, good set. That's a bumper. Free ball across. Back row. Trying. Gerhard tried. He mistimed his jump, or perhaps the set was a little too tall. Either way, he couldn't quite clear the net.
Yeah, I think the set was a little bit too high. They were trying to run a little bit more of a BIC, which is a faster back row attack. And so that was just a connection thing. Anytime you're running a faster offensive set like that, it becomes more about the setter and less about the hitter, versus a higher set is more about the hitter and less about the setter.
On that kill, it was touched by the Rockets, so the point goes to McNicholas into the serving, or excuse me, the point goes to Independence. Into the serving line goes Mark Pillar. Independence just down 4, a chance to climb back into this and push it to a 4th set. Good serve by Pillar, dug out nicely by Kaiser. Outside, and they're going to call a double on that set.
And that's been a lot of talk around the whole world about what's going to happen with this setter, the second ball contact. Are we going to let those things go, or are we going to call them? Well, we found out this week that in high school, they're still calling it. So we've seen them let a lot go, but that I would have called that one also.
Even in high school, it's still instructional. You want guys to learn and gals to learn how to do it the right way.
I agree with you 100% on that.
And there's an ace by Sonny Sears. The ball goes straight through the hands of Jack Sampson, number 6 in the back row middle.
Now on the first ball contact, you're allowed to make that ball come out of your hands however possible. Double contact, you just can't lift it.
Right. Good bump up, Sonny Sears outside. That one off the tape, kept alive. Gundrum to the outside. Gerhardt right inside the back line for the point for the Rockets, 20-16 McNicholas.
And Gerhardt unfortunately had some weird errors in the first set. That kind of affected his hitting percentage a little bit, but he's still getting a lot of balls. I mean, his total attempts is 22. He has 6 errors, but 8 kills. He's doing a great job. We featured him as the player to watch today for McNicholas, so I think we should continue to watch him throughout this match and weekend.
Big J Clifton with the block there. Gundrum was part of that as well. 21-16. Sears with the bump. Left hand of the cross by Wyatt. Back set. Off the touch. Pillar unable to get there in time. 22-16 McNicholas.
Good play, converting that from a free ball into a kill on the outside. It was a little bit of a high set. I think if they speed it up, it'll be harder to defend.
Ben Jones with the serve. It goes wide. So another serving error for McNicholas. 22-17 the score. Independence trails, and they have the serve. Joey Jermasic. Jermasic with a high toss. Big swing. Dug out nicely by Kaiser. Outside, no middle. And there's Gerhardt.
That's a great play. They call that the X play. So the middle goes up for the 1, the right side comes around and hits the 2. We talked about it in an earlier match, but it's like a tandem play. One's going up, one's coming down, while the other one's coming back up, and it's really hard to defend.
There's an ace. Gerhardt goes from killing with a kill to stepping to the line and doing it with a serve. Timeout taken by the Blue Devils. As match point sets before them, 24-17, McNicholas has the lead over Independence. More to come after this timeout. You're watching high school volleyball on the NFHS Network. Gavin Gerhardt has the ball in his hands. He wears number 4 for McNicholas, and he is 1 point away from his team advancing to tomorrow's state championship contest against St. Charles out of Columbus. Gerhardt with the toss, the swing right into the net. 24-18.
Coach Julia Mulvey gave him a look. You're not supposed to miss your serve on game point, and you're not supposed to miss your serve after a timeout. So he made 2 boo-boos there.
Quick one to the net. Oh my goodness, what a set by number 7, Ben Jones, and the finish by Jay Clifton, number 11, to put the finishing touch on this second semifinal matchup. McNicholas winning in 3 straight sets. 25-15, 25-12. 25-18. So we are set for our Division II state championship match tomorrow at noon as the McNicholas Rockets and the St. Charles Cardinals will go head-to-head. Before we talk about tomorrow, give me some thoughts of what you saw and experienced here today.
Yeah, the Blue Devils, they just didn't have probably the experience coming from the season to see some of these fast serves that were coming at them. So they had trouble with serve reception, and that's fair, but this is their second year. I expect to see them back in future. They also have a very good girls program that are constantly in the state postseason type tournaments that we see in the finals. So we're going to see them back. Now I'm really excited to see McNicholas play against St. Charles because they're very similar, and it's going to be a battle of attackers, and it's going to be a battle of which setter can spread the offense out the best and run the fastest offense. And so it's going to be fun to watch them at noon tomorrow.
For the 9 seniors at Independence, their careers in high school come to an end with a final record this season of 10-7. For McNicholas, they will advance to play tomorrow. Their record stands currently at 21-5. Congratulations to them, and we look forward, as you mentioned, to seeing them play against St. Charles tomorrow afternoon at noon. It'll be right here on the NFHS network. When you look at this McNicholas team and you've seen St. Charles, give me just an initial thought, a snapshot thought on which each team needs to do to be successful tomorrow.
Well, they're going to watch this film, I'm sure, but I would definitely say that St. Charles has to be ready for tips because there's going to be some off speed coming at them. So that would be something that they need to be prepared for. And then, you know, McNicholas has to be prepared for that offense that's getting spread out by St. Charles, and it's going from pin to pin, and it's fast. I mean, we're talking about balls that are below the height of the antenna for the right side, for the middle, for the outside, and the back row attacks. And so blocking strategy is probably going to be top of the list coming from McNicholas coaches in the locker room tonight and tomorrow morning.
We want to say thank you for watching and being a part of tonight's action. We also want to say thank you to Frank and Brianna Stidd. They are the folks who have put us on the air, make you able to hear us. If you think we have the ability to do that, think again. We've got people who do that, and we are very grateful for their hard work and their dedication to making this happen. The Division I state championships, the semifinals coming up next at 5 o'clock and at 7 o'clock. We hope you'll choose to join us then. Until then, for all of us here at the NFHS Network, including my partner Jackie Klein, thank you so much for watching. Once again, the final score, McNicholas over Independence, 25-15, 25-12, 25-18.